All right, so I think we're live. Welcome everybody to the kickoff meetup for the Polkadot Buildathon India. Let me share my screen, and we're gonna get right to it. So with us today, we actually have a few wonderful guests. But all in all, we are gonna be looking at about 60 minutes for this meetup. If you have any questions during the presentation, during the actual call, please use the there we go. Please use the box at the bottom that says "Ask a Question," and we are gonna get to them as soon as we can, really. So, all right, good. All right, cool. Here we go. So today you're going to be hearing from myself. So my name is Urban, and I work at the Web3 Foundation, primarily on the kind of community and growth side of things. But we've got two wonderful guests with us, Chandra from Lumos Labs, who are also helping us with the organizations and the organization of the event, as well as many other things. And we also have Fagun Shenoy, who is a local community member. He's going to tell you a little bit about his journey into the ecosystem, as well as what he is working on. So let's get right to it. We've got three larger buckets that we want to cover today. I'm going to go into some of the basics of what Polkadot is, introduce you to some of the higher level concepts. But really, this talk is not meant to be, giving you a tech deep dive into how to build stuff and where to begin with, for instance, substrate development and so on. That is going to be actually covered in some of the workshops during the building phase. Now, very importantly, we're going to go into the depth of the event itself, how the hackathon is structured, what you need to be mindful of when you make submissions, for instance, what are the different phases, and so on and so on. So really, I really implore you to pay attention there, because there's some of the things that are maybe a little bit unique to how we've set this up. So we do want to be mindful of some of these things. And lastly, like mentioned, Fagun is going to be talking about a little bit about his journey, what he's working on, and we're going to be wrapping it up, hopefully within the hour. All right, so to kick it off with Polkadot, what is Polkadot? Many of you are members of the Polkadot community. Many of you have been hanging around, but that doesn't mean that everybody has been. So let's have a look what Polkadot is, and let's try to dissect it a little bit. So we try to think of Polkadot as being this foundational building block of the new web, right? But this sounds very futuristic and very basically everybody could say that, right? Everything could be a building block of the future. But if we look under the hood, there's actually three larger components that make up this wonderful ecosystem. Now, yes, we're talking a lot about Polkadot, but Polkadot has a foundational building block that is called Substrate. So Substrate is a blockchain building framework that has actually been used to deploy Polkadot and what is known as the Polkadot relay chain. Now, interestingly enough, we also have in this mix, we have the Kusama network. So Kusama is, we like to call it a canary in the coal mine network, where some of the features are rolled out before we do this on Polkadot. But it's not a test net. It is a live network with its distinct features. Right now, it might be very close, but as things evolve, you'll see we've got on-chain governance and some of these mechanisms. These two networks might actually diverge and converge at different times. But very importantly to note, Substrate is kind of the building block as we dive into development and the tech nitty-gritty. So let's have a look at some of the founders. Again, not going too deep into this. There's obviously many people that have contributed to this. The one person that I'd really like to kind of point out here is Dr. Gavin Wood. So Gav was actually the co-founder and the initial CTO at Ethereum. He wrote the Ethereum Yellow Paper. He wrote what is today known as Solidity and many other very important components. So Gav is also kind of the mastermind behind many of these technologies that you see within the Polkadot ecosystem, ranging from Substrate, obviously Polkadot, Kusama, and everything that goes into it. But like I said, nobody could achieve a technological breakthrough on this scale by himself. So in the background, you're actually going to see two kind of organizations working together in tandem, the Web3 Foundation and Parity Technologies. I personally work at the Web3 Foundation. Parity Technologies is a close partner of ours, but really this is how these two organizations come together to form, to initially create the Polkadot and Substrate ecosystem. Right. So if we look at Polkadot and some of its features, right? Many of you probably have questions. Oh, why Polkadot? What's the difference? What is kind of unique to the network and to its technologies? So again, we're not going to go deeply into comparisons of Polkadot to other networks, but I do want to give you like a high level pitch, if you want, to what Polkadot is and what makes it kind of unique. So we've got 6 larger brackets here, starting from the top left corner. It says connect networks together, and directly underneath it, enable custom-made platforms built for specific use cases. So if you remember a few slides back, I'm actually going to go back to this. We had this graphic, and to me, when I started working with the Polkadot ecosystem, this graphic really represented the essence of how it's how Polkadot is built. So, in the middle, you've got something that we call the relay chain, right? If you look at the inner circle, the relay chain really is not extremely smart, right? We don't have a lot of functionality with it, but it serves as a mostly as a message passing infrastructure, and obviously security and some of these things heavily rely on it. But the very, very unique part from Polkadot comes from the fact that it has these many little chains attached to it, right? These are actually unique shards that a project can own. So if you think about it, you could have a specialized chain connected to Polkadot. You could have a specialized chain connected to Polkadot that does one specific thing very, very good, right? You could have, I don't know, a gaming chain, for instance, connected to it. You could have NFTs are hot lately. You could have a specific NFT chain, and many other things, right? There's really no limit to what creativity could come up with. So the point here is that instead of having this one size fits all approach, the team tried to design this in a way that if you come in with a very unique use case that has very unique kind of demands and requires very unique features, you could actually go ahead and build that, build a custom blockchain that would work only for you, and very much optimize it for that specific use case. So it's kind of a very different paradigm when we compare this to other networks who try to be in that one size fits all instead of trying to specialize for a specific use case. So if we go back to these 6 features, you also see that we've got, obviously handles heavy traffic. This is really important as we move into specific use cases. For instance, some enterprise use cases might have insane volumes that they need to cover, and obviously the architecture as well as the the fact that it's proof of stake and many other things that go into that make Polkadot highly scalable. Now, there's a few things that I really want to stress here when it comes to on-chain governance, on-chain treasuries, and the actual on-chain communities. This is a huge differentiating factor when you compare it to some of the other networks, right? Governance actually happens on-chain. There's an on-chain council, there's an on-chain treasury that kind of it can basically rule itself. It can govern itself, but obviously the token holders are the ones that are really at stake here. So the token holders can influence governance decisions. They can vote on treasury proposals and so on and so on. So it's really a mesh of this this new paradigm towards an on-chain governance model. Industry-leading security is a highly sought after feature. It says industry-leading security. Basically, what you get if you become a parachain, a unique chain connected to Polkadot, is the fact that you can rely on Polkadot's security on the relay chain. So you wouldn't have to, for instance, find your own validator set in order to secure your network, to secure your blockchain, essentially making you less prone to attacks. So we know that there's, smaller networks that have less hashing power, less validators, for instance, and so on, are more prone to something like a 51 attack or something like that, which you essentially as a parachain shouldn't be worrying about. There's also a concept called forkless upgrades or self-upgrades, which really ties into how Substrate is built, the runtime, as well as the on-chain governance and treasuries. So if we look at the notion of custom built chains, and I've touched on this a few times, really what stands out is Substrate. Now, Substrate is it's a blockchain building framework, and you get a lot of modules that you can play with to make up your unique runtime. So it is something that you're most likely going to be looking at. It is something that is extremely, extremely useful and is used primarily to build these custom blockchains that eventually could connect to Polkadot. So if you look at this graphic, for instance, we've got something that's called frame palettes. Now, palettes are essentially these modules that you combine in order to make your custom runtime. So in this case, we could, for instance, be adding in the elections module or the staking module or the I don't know, the treasury module, for instance, whatever you for your own use case foresee that would be highly, highly beneficial. So Substrate is this extremely important piece of technology that you definitely need to be aware of. Now, I've mentioned security. I'm not going to go too deep into this here, but really think about how highly prone smaller networks are towards some sort of attack, some sort of malicious behavior, and essentially Polkadot tries to solve this by providing shared security to its whole parachain set, or everybody who wins a parachain slot. All right. Now, I know the technology is really important. I think we absolutely need to talk about this. It's extremely, extremely important. It's the base block. But if you think about it, right, joining a ecosystem is more than just joining a technology. It's really joining a network, a community, and obviously the projects that are already building in it. So I'd like to touch on this a little bit. There's no, I don't have a rundown of all the projects building in here. There's hundreds of them, but I do want to show you a few indicators of how well the network and the ecosystem is actually flourishing. So for instance, here we've got a graphic describing the Web3 Foundation grants. We've basically got the general grant and the open grant, which are in different sizes. But to this day, I think we gave out over 200 of these, which is fantastic, right? This means that open source software development is being funded via mechanisms like this, and it really, really is incentivizing the growth of the whole ecosystem, as well as beyond just Polkadot, right? A very cool thing that many of you might be interested after the hackathon is the Substrate Builders program. So the Substrate Builders program provides a lot of technical support, business development support, marketing support, launch support, and many of these. But it's really a very cool way to get involved with the parity engineers, to get some help and technical support, as well as to carve out some milestones for your project. So this is probably a really good next step for participants of this hackathon and many others who want to take their project to the next level. A cool thing that I definitely want to stress here is the on-chain treasury. Now, the on-chain treasury is kind of unique to the Polkadot ecosystem, and obviously some others as well. But it is right now it is not as as utilized as it should be. So I'd really stress, go and look at the Polkadot treasury, go and look at some of the proposals, the on-chain processes that are happening, because it is a fantastic way to get some funding. So right now we've got 2 treasuries. Obviously, each network has its own. There's some stats written on here, but if anybody is particularly interested in this, please make sure to reach out to myself. I'm happy to help you out with navigating the landscape of creating an on-chain treasury proposal and all of that. But really, this is a extremely important part of the ecosystem. Last but not least, the actual community. So a flagship program that we have for the community is called the Polkadot Ambassadors. The Ambassadors program currently has over 1,200 members from all over the planet. Community members, they create various things. Obviously, the technical side, the developer side as well, but going way beyond that into just advocating, creating, socializing, translations, meetups, all of these things are kind of covered in here. So anybody who's interested in getting more involved in the ecosystem, I'd really highly implore you, have a look at the Polkadot Ambassadors page and submit your application. Right, so getting into the gist of it, getting to the actual buildathon. So the Polkadot Buildathon India is a really cool thing that we're trying to put together for the local Indian community, and obviously we can't do this by ourselves. So at this point, Chandra, if you want to join me on stage and tell the folks, the community, a little bit about Lumos Labs. Lumos is a local partner that is helping us with the organization, execution, and so on. But I'm going to let Chandra speak about this a little bit. Yeah, I think you're muted. Chandra. Trying to unmute. Still can't hear you. It's waiting for you to reconnect. All right, let's give it a second. Ah, there we go.
Hey, you guys can hear me? Awesome. All right, sorry about that. First of all, we're really excited to be bringing Polkadot to the Indian developer ecosystem, and especially starting with this super amazing hackathon that Urban's going to walk you through in a couple of minutes. So a little bit about what we do. We at Lumos Labs, we're an innovation management company. So we work very closely with the Indian developer ecosystem and innovative companies across the globe. And what we do is we enable this developer community that we have through different developer-focused programs like hackathons, developer conferences, and tech workshops and stuff like that. So this is what we do throughout the year. We have programs going on. So if any of you would like to get involved, there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can join our Discord channel, to keep up to date and, with upcoming events and everything like that. And you can also sign up at our Wizard Network page on our website, where you can sign up to be an ambassador for some of our clients. So without further ado, I think I'd let Urban continue with explaining to you guys about the Buildathon. And yeah, super excited to see the projects that come out of this.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Chandra. So, like I said, let's first get the format straight. Let me take you through how we set this up. So there's 2 phases to this. One is the ideation, and the other one is building. Right. So in the ideation phase, we're really trying to spark some interest, getting to know the ecosystem, getting to know the tech. There's no real stress in, you need to start building, you need to start delivering, not at all. There is a deliverable though, at the end of or even sooner. I hope everybody submits this sooner than on the last day. But I'm going to get to this. We have a form up, which you need to use in order to submit your idea. But in order to kind of get your feet wet with Substrate, you also need to submit a screenshot of a launched Substrate chain. So this really shouldn't take you very long. It's a fairly simple thing to do, but it is a really, really important step because not because we absolutely need to have an idea from you, but because it is really, really important that you start building in the actual building phase, not just thinking about, oh, what should I be building in the next 5 weeks, right? You can also use this time to find a team. You can find teammates who can help you alongside on this journey. And more importantly, please get in touch with us. If you have any questions, anything that you want to kind of brainstorm, bounce some ideas, you might want to engage us in something more than just submitting an idea, please do that. It's really important, and we're really keen on getting to know everybody. So if you have any questions, any kind of ideas that you want to bounce, please do that. So advancing from the ideation to the building phase, it's really a 5-week building phase where you just build. And the submission happens via DevFolio. I think DevFolio is quite, you guys should be familiar with it. It's a quite cool platform, and the project submissions are going to be happening via DevFolio as well. If there's any UI, UX questions on how stuff works on DevFolio, please reach out to us as well. So I see, is Discord the only way to contact you guys? I'd say, yeah, just go ahead and use Discord for now. You can always email me, urban@web3.foundation. That works as well. I can drop that later on in the chat. So if we look at the categories that we've got, there's 2 larger brackets that are kind of available, but really we don't want to push you into something very, very specific. So the first one is build a blockchain. So use Substrate to build a blockchain that could one day potentially connect to Polkadot. This is, using Substrate, it makes deploying and creating a blockchain very, very easy. But still, some thought needs to go into what's the reason for that, what do you want to accomplish, what kind of use case they want to cover. And this definitely needs some sort of brainstorming, definitely needs a team, right? Ideally, you wouldn't just copy paste some code and kind of submit it. It also has a meaning, right? You definitely want to address a use case. So again, please reach out to us if that is the case. But the second larger category is an open hack, right? So anything that really doesn't fit into building your own blockchain, just go ahead, build it as an open hack if you want. And really anything that you can think of can fall under this. So these can be any, block explorers, visualizers, any kind of infrastructure tooling, scam prevention, for instance. We've got a whole Notion page section in the idea board that describes this. So please go ahead and kind of brainstorm around this. Have a look on the idea board in the Notion guide. But really, anything that isn't the blockchain fits under the open hack umbrella. All right, something that everybody wants to hear, everybody wants to know, what are the prizes, right? So we've kind of split it up into 3 larger prizes, 5K, 3K, and 2K, respectively, for the first, second, and third prize. I think in addition to this, we really want to kind of give something extra, not just money. And as you can see, there's engraved ledgers, Polkadot engraved ledgers. We obviously love to feature you in our social media just to show what you guys have built. If it's applicable, we're going to help you connect with the Substrate Builders program to kind of see whether it is a fit for that program. And really, something that I'm really happy about, we got you all a 50% discount for the Substrate Runtime Academy for the whole team. So this means if you win a second place and you've got 5 people on the team, everybody gets 50% off for the certification program for the Substrate Runtime Developer Academy. It's a cool program. It's a very nice certification program. So do check that out. In any case, as well as Polkadot swag, right? Polkadot, everybody loves swag, so we're going to be giving out that as well. Now, not because not everybody can win the first place, but we do want to kind of reward people who hang in there, who build, but maybe didn't kind of come to the finish line. There's a 200 USD prize for the top 20 teams as well, which in addition to these 3 prizes kind of makes up this whole prize pool. So what about the timelines? A really important piece of information. There's let's see. So we've got the ideation phase, which started on the 30th of March, and today obviously is the kickoff meetup, April 9th. The idea submission deadline is the 24th of April, so keep that in mind. 24th of April. Yes, there's a few weeks, but ideally, get started sooner than later. The building phase starts right after, so 26th of April. I think that should be a Monday. And the submission deadline is the 30th of May. So you essentially have 5 weeks to submit something. But there's going to be 2 workshops that we're going to be holding. The first one is most likely going to be a sort of Substrate 101, guiding you through some of the core components, how it kind of all fits together. And the second one, we're still thinking about how to do this. Either it's going to be like a Q&A session if we have a bunch of questions that needs to be answered, we're just going to do a workshop around that, or we can dive into a deeper topic, but again, TBD. Now, after that, we got the judging. The judging starts the day after submissions, and it's most likely going to take us around a week or so to go through them. And the demo day currently is scheduled for the 11th of June. Now, plus minus on the demo day, plus minus a few days, but essentially this is the timeline that we are looking at. So what about the resources? What can you use in order to make your developer journey and building experience successful? First of all, have a look at the Notion guide, right? We always try to, with every hackathon, we try to put out like a hacker guide, hackathon guide. This time we used a Notion page. It's a public page on Notion. I have a bit.ly link here. So Buildathon India guide, minus guide. It is going to take you directly to this, and you can kind of browse around. There's 5 larger buckets. So anything related to the hackathon, any info that you might need, any links that you might need. Then in general around around Polkadot, so what it is, some links around that. Then the ideation and the building stuff. The building stuff we're still working on it, putting in some resources that you might need, and obviously, what about after the hackathon, right? So here you're going to find some career pages from the Web3 Foundation, from Parity, maybe some of the ecosystem projects, the Substrate certification, the Web3 Foundation grants, the Substrate Builders program, and so on. So I'd also really implore you to hang around in the Polkadot Discord. Not everything might be in the Notion guide, so if you have any questions, do reach out to us, do let us know. There's also a vibrant community that might be able to help you out directly. Now, the Defolio Hackathon page, I think by now you all should be quite familiar with that. Hosted on Defolio, Polkadot-Buildathon, defolio.co. So we're not going to go too deep into all the resources. There's a bunch of resources available around Polkadot and Substrate and Kusama and all of these building blocks. So to just kind of put it out there a bit, Polkadot.network is the homepage. It is good to kind of look through the pages itself, but the light paper might have some more information, as well as the wiki. So wiki.polkadot.network, that is a fantastic resource. Literally, we've seen on the past hackathons that most people who start building and working, they actually find a lot of information in the wiki. So please go into the wiki, read up on any kind of concepts that you might want to. It's fairly detailed. it is technical, but it's not just code. So it's a really good starting point. Now, anything connected to Substrate, substrate.dev or substrate.io. .dev is more of a developer hub. You're going to find resources, Rust documentation, and some of the other resources. .io is more of a kind of brand page. So the idea of submission, coming back to this, I just want to stress this again. Submit an idea. There's two parts to submitting an idea and a screenshot of a local running Substrate chain. This is not difficult to do. It should be done within an hour or so. Check the Notion guide. Everything is in there. Again, a bit.ly link here, Buildathon India -form. It's going to take you directly there. But again, check the Notion guide as is, as more is written up on what has to be done. So a really kind of important part of hackathons is obviously not working alone, right? You want to find a community, you want to find a team, you want to build with people, not just by yourself. So for that purpose, I think there's two larger kind of ways to do this. Obviously, you know, if you come in with existing teams, that's fantastic. That's really good. But not everybody does, and that is not a problem at all. So we've got a Discord channel specifically dedicated to this. So you see, if you join the Polkadot Discord, this link is going to take you directly to that chat. And I'm really happy to tell you that it's becoming quite vibrant. So there's people coming in, there's you know, discussions. People are kind of pitching what they do, what kind of background they have. So really have a look, introduce yourself, and try to find a team in there. If you're not successful, do reach out to us. I'm always happy to talk to everybody. Anybody that has any questions, I'm happy to jump on sort of an intro call, get to know everybody. And I think Chandra and Falgun would be equally happy to do that. But just putting it out there, there's a vibrant community that's just waiting to get connected. So the rules, this is sometimes a little bit of a dry topic, but it's really important. We have just the bit.ly link, Buildathon India. If you go there, there's a full set of rules. It's actually quite extensive because we try to cover everything. Anything related to eligibility criteria, submission requirements, what to submit, questions around IP that you might have, it's all in there, judging prizes, and anything. It should be covered. If it's not, let me know, and we're going to try to find an answer. I'm putting this and really trying to stress this because there's some submission requirements that I want you to be aware of. Right? For instance, we want you to submit a video, right? About it doesn't have to be a fancy video. It's really meant to be like a walkthrough of what you did, a small demo or something like that. So and a few other things, right? So please have a look at this. Please have a look at this. Go in, read through them. If there's any questions, just let me know, and we're going to try to solve it. All right, so let's say the more interesting section now. Not going to bore you with rules and so on. Community and the developer journey. So Falgun is going to come online. Actually, Falgun, you can unmute yourself. He's going to tell you a little bit about his developer journey, a little bit about how he got into the Polkadot ecosystem. And again, you know, although we have a name and a face attached to it, Falgun, really nice of you to join us. This is something that we actually see over and over again, right? So people, you know, with obviously really good capabilities, technical capabilities, joining the ecosystem, getting some help, maybe onboarding themselves via a hackathon, finding a team, and so on. So really, this is his presentation should serve as a kind of best practice, how you can get in, what you can do, how you can dive deeper into it, but also you know, listen to his Polka music presentation. I think it's a fantastic way to kind of understand what he's doing, what he's solving, and ultimately, you know, why not join his team and maybe build out something. I know he's doing some great things. So yeah, it's all you, man.
Thank you, Urban. So hey guys, my name is Falgun Shinoy, and I'm from Bangalore. I'm a Polkadot ambassador for India. I started my career in a large book publishing company, which publishes United States Constitution. So they used to update the book on a daily basis by collecting data from all the courts across the whole of USA. And that kind of crunching of data required a lot of back-end processing. So my task was to make this workflow efficient, which I enjoyed a lot. And while I was working, I also started making videos on YouTube, and they went viral. I got about 20 million views. And in this journey, I made a lot of friends from the entertainment industry. I got to know that they were getting paid very less, especially the music artists. They were getting paid really less from the streaming platforms such as Spotify and others. And I went down the rabbit hole, and I found out what exactly was happening. And I thought of solving that issue using blockchain. But it required a lot of on-chain transactions to be made. And given the gas price of Ethereum, it definitely wasn't the choice. So that meant I needed my own blockchain, and I didn't know how to do it. So I searched around, I looked around, and I came across Substrate, and I got my first blockchain running in like literally 5 minutes, the development environment. And in addition to that, the fact that my blockchain could actually speak to other blockchains within the Polkadot ecosystem, it actually got me more interested. And I truly believe that every blockchain should be able to talk to other blockchains because that's definitely the future. So, uh, so I have three projects in the Polkadot ecosystem. So one is Polka Music. It's related to music processing, which I'll explain more in the coming slides. The next project is Bitcoin NFT. So even this is for musicians. So you can actually create NFTs and get it traded against Polka BTC, which is the trustless Bitcoin for the Polkadot ecosystem. And the next project is polkaproject.in, which is more of a showcase of all the projects coming out of India or having Indian founders. And I also interview them, and I do podcasts as well as I interview developers. So it's not just the founders. Next slide, please. So let me explain a little bit about Polka Music and what the problems that we are trying to solve here. This is a response for the broken record movement. You can also search it on Twitter. So at the moment, nobody's downloading music. All of them are just streaming music because it's so efficient from a monetary perspective. So you can just buy a $10 subscription on Spotify and listen to unlimited songs for the whole month. So from a user perspective, it is really good. But when it comes to the artists, they get paid really less. Why exactly is this issue happening? So it's because of the pro rata model, the way these streaming platforms calculate who gets paid how much. So let's say Urban is listening to like two artists from his country, and nobody else listens to them. He's their fan, and only he listens to them for the whole month. So technically, if Urban is paying $10 subscription fee, at the end of the month, those two artists should be getting $5 each, right? But in reality, what happens is his $9.99 is distributed to Justin Bieber because he gets most of the streams, and the $0.01 is distributed to those two artists who he actually listens to, whereas Urban never listened to Justin Bieber. So that's the pro rata model problem. Apart from that, we have the opaqueness where we don't really know how they are calculating or how much money they are actually making and how much is being distributed. Apart from that, we also have the digital blind spot because every country and every organization have their own database, and which is responsible for making payments. And because there are so many databases, they are not compatible with each other. And due to this, when the data and the money makes transition between these databases, some of the data is lost. And at some point, they don't know who to pay anymore because there's some lost data. And such money is put in something called a royalty black box, which is distributed to industry leaders based on market share, such as Sony and other organizations. Next slide, please. So could you change the slide? So here's a broken record movement. This is a real life income of an artist. And you can see that the green strip over there, that is the streaming revenue. And the blue part is from the live performance. And as you know, because of the COVID pandemic, you cannot, the artist cannot really give out live performances, which means he's not really earning a lot from streaming revenue, and his livelihood is in danger. So we have to fix this streaming problem, which is what we are aiming to do with Polka Music. Next slide, please. So the solution is we will switch from pro rata model to the user-centric model. So Polka Music would be an infrastructure for anybody who wants to switch from their existing, if they have an existing streaming platform, they can switch to Polka Music and use that as a base. And if you want to build a new one, you can just initialize our smart contract, and you will have your own micro economy for your own platform. Apart from that, all these stream reports would be visible on the blockchain. So whenever somebody listens to a music on your platform, it will be seen on the blockchain, and you will be able to verify using a blockchain explorer. And apart from that, we have also removed the digital blind spot using Polka Music and Substrate. So here we have introduced something called smart record contracts. This has nothing to do with smart contracts. When you sign a music with a record label, you get a record contract. This is a smart version of that, where you can send any money to this smart record contract, and it will split automatically to all the band members, because it's hardly the case that a music is made by a single person. It's always a band, right? And if ever you don't know who to pay, if you have a royalty black box problem, you can just come to Polka Music. It's all public. You can just send money to that song and make sure that everybody gets paid. Next slide. So we have the smart streaming platform, polkamusic.io. It does user-centric calculation, which means if Urban is listening to two artists, his share is actually distributed to only those two artists, not anybody else. It is transparent. You can confirm it on the blockchain. There's on-chain governance, so all the people can actually have a vote on who comes on the platform and who gets kicked out of the platform. And there's also initial song offering, where you can crowdfund your next album and share the royalties, because we are also connected to all the mainstream platforms. We are not saying that mainstream platforms are bad, but we are an inclusive music ecosystem, which I'll show you in the next slide. So here's an overview of how I envision Polka Music to be. So on the top left corner, we have all the traditional streaming platforms, such as YouTube, Spotify. We plan to connect over 200 streaming platforms to Polka Music. And we have our own project, Bitcoin NFT. It will also be connected to Polka Music. It's built on Polka Music. And we also have third-party collaborators with us, OneMusic.space and Qting.club. They will be initializing the smart contract of smart streaming platform, which means they will have their own micro economy, and they will also be building on Polka Music. That way, it's an inclusive environment, and they will also be gaining from the interoperability of Polkadot. So Finally, the vision is that artists can get fair royalties, fair share of royalties. They can also crowdfund for their next album and distribute the streaming revenue automatically to the supporters. What it means for developers is Polka music can be seen as an ever-growing set of Legos. So you can mix and match all the various features that Polka music has to offer and bring it together to become a new streaming platform on Polka music with your own microeconomy. All those siloed microeconomies can build a bridge to our blockchain, that's Polka music, and we can all share data with each other. And mainstream platforms such as Spotify and 200 more streaming platforms, all of them will be connected to our blockchain via API. And we can actually, it will be a two-way communication where we will we'll distribute songs from Polka music to those 200 streaming platforms and also get the royalties back to the blockchain, yeah, and post all the stream reports on the blockchain. So we are looking for team members for the Polka Music Buildathon team. So if you are interested and if you share the vision of Polka Music, please contact me. This is my email address, or you can just contact me on Discord. I'm very active in the Buildathon channel. Thank you. Thank you, Urban. Thank you, Urban. You can take over. While Urban is fixing his mic, I'd be happy to answer a few questions here. Justin Bieber, it would be great if Spotify connects to our platform, like they use the smart streaming platform palette that we are creating. So every country has their own performing rights organization. So they could actually adopt Polka music and save some cost. Chandra, would you like to join and complete the presentation?
Hey, yeah, for sure. Can you guys see me, hear me? Awesome. Cool. I think Urban's having a little bit of connectivity issues, so I'm just going to walk through the next few slides. So basically, we have this awesome buildathon planned, and there's a lot of things that you can do to get involved, both during the buildathon and after as well. So on the slide is a couple of things that you can do to get involved with Polkadot, after the buildathon. So there's a lot of Web3 Foundation grants that you can apply for. So I believe Urban walked through this, the grants that were given out to the projects and the different categories that they were given out. So that's something you can apply for. The Substrate Builders program, like Erwin mentioned, that's again an ongoing thing that you can apply for as well. Future hackathons and ambassador program, these are things that you can get involved with as a developer. And of course, you can join our Polkadot Discord channel. I believe the link is on the chat box. I'll have someone leave it there again so you guys can join. And yeah, basically that's that. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining today. I don't think we're going to be having Urban back on screen. Seems like there's some internet or connectivity issue. I'll just go through a couple of these questions that are there in the questions tab. All right. Mr. Valadi K. Jagannathan asks if there are what type of quirky problems can Polkadot's ecosystem be suited for? So these are things that Urban was mentioning. This is cross-chain bridging, application-specific blockchains. Again, the answer, I believe Gautam from Pokedex has left it in the comment, so you'll find it there. Will there be any further info or support and tutorials for setting up the developer environment? Definitely. Again, I'll have someone leave the Notion document hacker guide link in the chat box. So there you will find everything broken down into segments. So you have the ideation phase, the building phase, and everything that you would require for these phases. There are different links and stuff given there. So do take a look at that. Question, should the screenshot of a launch substrate chain be on the initial idea itself, or is it just the basic local substrate chain implementation? Right. So for your first ideation phase, it would just be the description of what you want to build, and along with a screenshot of the basic implementation of the local substrate chain. Not the thing that you're planning on building, but the first. I think you can find it in the Notion guide, so that the getting started section takes you through how to set up your local node and the environment on your end of the on your end system. So that's that. I think that's about it. Okay, so yeah, the links have been given in the chat box. There are these. There's the Notion link, the submission form that you have to submit your ideas to, as well as the Discord channel. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for joining us. If there are any more questions that you guys would like to put out, I'm happy to field them. All right, I guess that's that. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. I'm looking forward to all the exciting projects that are going to come out of this. And yeah, looking forward
Thank you, guys.
Please join our Discord channel.